Welcome back to the channel, 40k Theorists. This is Theory Hammer, and we're going to take a look at this very special Leagues of Votann Codex. This just came out today, and everybody else has reviewed it already because they're special, unlike me. So I got it today on release day, and I'm going to go over it today. I've already read through it, so this is going to be a little bit different than a lot of the other ones, all of the other Codex reviews that I've done so far. Not super excited about this. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that change is hard, you know? So, it was a little bit more simple before, had a lot of power, and now things are kind of spread around, things are different, and I'm not sure where it lands. So, we'll have to figure that out and see where it lands. If you guys like the video, Thunderhammer that like, subscribe, and bell icon. Make sure that you leave a comment, check out the other videos, and check out the other channel. We're going to start a Total War, well, we've started a Total War Let's Play, I just haven't produced it yet because it takes a long time. And I make all these other videos for this channel. So, let's get into this Codex review. Leagues of Votann. Here we go. So we're going to pop this over here so I can bring myself up. You should be able to see me in here now. Okay, so we're going to skip through, so here's our contents. We're going to skip through everything except for this. So 96 to 127 is really what we're going for there. Not this. 96 it said, so we've passed it. Alright, so this is our army rule. It is called Prioritized Efficiency. If your army faction is the Leagues of Votann, then all of your units gain two different abilities. You either gain the Hostile Acquisition or the Fortified Takeover. I'm also going to be a little bit more casual in how I talk through this stuff as well, and we're going to also do this a little bit differently. Once we go over the army rules, we're just going to go right into the units, and then we'll go back to the detachments. I've always done it just right through, and it's not as easy for me to like put everything together until I read the units first, then the detachments to figure out what units belong where. So we're going to do that. Anyway, the army rule, prioritized efficiency. Basically, the way that this works is that you gain these yield points. So, I will read this. If your army faction is Leagues of Votann, units from your army have one of the two following abilities: Hostile Acquisition or Fortified Takeover. During the battle, which ability the Leagues of Votann units from your army, what ability they have will change depending on how many yield points you currently have. So, at the start of the battle, you start in a Hostile Acquisition, and then until the start of your next command phase, that's what you're in. And then at the end of your command phase, if you have 7 or more yield points, you can change to the Fortified Takeover. So at the end of your command phase, if you have 7 or more units from your army have the Fortified Takeover until the start of your next command phase. Now you can use these to do stuff depending on the detachment, and like different units can use yield points to do different things. So that's basically how it works. At the start of your command phase, you check how many yield points you have, and depending on how many you have, you either stay in Hostile Acquisition, or go into Fortified Takeover, or go back into Hostile Acquisition. Now, to actually gain your yield points, this is what you do. At the end of each player's command phase, and I've read this a couple of times, because I'm pretty sure it works this way, but at the end of each player's command phase, you gain 1 yield point if you control 1 or more objective markers within your deployment zone, and from the second battle round onwards, you gain 1 additional yield point for each of the following conditions that you satisfy. So the way that this... Okay, let's just go through them, and then I'll kind of explain why I'm thinking stuff. So if you control 1 or more objective markers not within your deployment zone, you gain an additional 1. If you control 2 or more, you gain an additional 1 outside your deployment zone. If you control more than your opponent, you gain an additional 1. So you can gain up to 4 based on this. Now, it says, at the end of each player's command phase, comma, you gain 1 yield point if you control 1 or more objective markers within your deployment zone, comma, and from the second battle round onward, you gain 1 additional yield point for each of the following conditions that you satisfy. So I'm pretty sure if you satisfy these conditions in your opponent's command phase, you get the points for them. Let me know. This just came out. I don't know if this has been asked before, but based on the way that it's worded, it's not clear to me if you just always get 1 in your opponent's command phase when you control something in your deployment zone, And then separately, like, it just doesn't make sense the way it's worded. So I think that you get it on each player's command phase. Just all of the caveats. Each player's command phase is what I'm going with. Let me know if I'm wrong down below. Yeah. So, in your turn, yield points gained in this way are always gained before checking which ability your Leagues of Votann units have. So before you choose these things, you figure out what you have before that happens. Whenever a rule allows you to spend your points, reduce the number of yield points that you have by that amount. So they're kind of like, I was going to say they're kind of like Miracle Dice, but they're not anything like Miracle Dice. It's just that you can spend them as a resource, kind of like Miracle Dice is really the only similarity there. So you reduce it if you spend them out of your pool, and you can't go below 0. Alright, and if you have 0, you can't use a rule that lets you spend them, obviously. There's some designer notes here that kind of go over some stuff, but I think it's pretty straightforward. You just gain them. It's like gaining points when you have objectives, and then you gain extra points depending on, the conditions that you satisfy there. So, those are our army rules. I didn't even go over these. So, hostile acquisition. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack that targets an enemy unit that's within range of an objective marker, add 1 to the hit roll. So you're still hitting on 3s half the time, which is worse. So, the other one is that you can reroll advance and charge rolls made for this unit. So that's pretty cool. That just puts that just puts the Einherjar Champion's ability on your army. Rerolled charge rolls. The +1 advance is pretty interesting as well. Or, reroll advance rolls is pretty interesting as well. So, that's what you get. That's what you start in. Fortify Takeover is the one that you get if you have 7 or more. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack that targets an enemy unit, if the enemy unit is within range of 1 or more objective markers that you control, add 1 to the hit roll. So, these kind of flip. The first one, if the enemy unit is within range of an objective marker, you get to add 1 to your hit roll. The second one is if you're the one on the objective marker and you control it, add 1 to the hit roll, which is better, much better, because that means you can just be on the objective and just shoot outward, and everything you shoot at, you're +1 to hit because you control the objective. Then, each time an attack targets a unit, if the strength characteristic of that attack is greater than the unit's toughness characteristic and the unit is not a vehicle, fucking bullshit, subtract 1 from the wound roll. We have jumped the shark at this point in the edition. Yeah, Imperial Knights and Death Guard are just ridiculous at this point. Like, just let it hit vehicles. Who gives a shit? It's not like it's that good. Alright, so that's your yield point stuff. So it's kind of complicated. It kind of reminds me of AdMech. You have 2 different abilities that you pick. And the difference here is that you have to gain your yield points to change them. Being -1 to wound, that's really good. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. That's really good. The problem is that a lot of things either lost toughness or lost wounds. So, yeah. And the fact that it doesn't work on vehicles isn't my favorite thing. But, yeah. So that's what we get. It's not bad. It's just different. And I don't know how much I'm going to like it compared to what I used to have, which is being +1 to hit and wound. Because being +1 to hit and wound, pretty much some of the best abilities you can get in the game. And I just got them, and it was very simple. So, we'll see. But that's what our army rules are. So before we go into our detachments, we're going to go into the different units here. So we're going to skip this and go to the units. We're going to start with the characters. So here's our data sheets. Uthar is up first, and he is just an auto-include now. So he went from being a piece of shit that no one ever took to an auto-include. What did you guys expect? Like, no one played him, so they didn't sell any of them. And actually, I think you could build the call as Uthar, so that's probably not true. But nobody did that. Anyway, he didn't change stat line-wise, so moves 5 with toughness 5, 3 up, 4 up, 5 wounds, leadership 6. That may have changed. He may have been leadership 7, I don't know. OC 1. His ranged weapon's the same, it's the Volkite gun. I'm not going to go into these too hard, but dev wounds are 3 shots, 1 damage. It's a Volkite weapon. They're kind of all the same. For melee, he's got 5 attacks at 6-3-2, hitting on 2s, with dev wounds. He can be attached to Einherjar Hearthguard, okay, Hearthkin Warriors, and that's it. And that's what he comes with. He's nothing crazy besides character. He doesn't have anything special there. He does have different abilities. So this change, I think he could just do this before, where he could change a hit, wound, or saving throw to a 6. He doesn't do that automatically now. You have to spend a yield point to do it. So there's a lot of things we're going to see here that spend yield points. And I don't think this review is going to be all that long because there's not that many units in here. So anyway, his other ability is Grim Efficiency, and this is the reason why he's now an auto take. Once per battle round, while a friendly Leagues of Votann unit is within 12 inches of this model when they're targeted with a stratagem, you can use this ability if he does, so reduce the cost by 1. Yep, that's really good. And then if he's attached to a unit, they get a 5-up invuln. So that's Uthar. I think he's 90 points. I'll go over the points for you guys, because they have probably gotten a little bit better at making the points closer to what they should be as these come out. I know they're printed in advance, but yeah. Uthar the Destined, 80 points. Yeah. Dude, you take that every time. Every single time. So that's Uthar. Then we have this guy, and I actually picked this guy up today as well, just because I had to. You know, I had to. When it comes to special characters and stuff, I like having the real model. So, Bury, okay. I'm not even going to try. Something Sin. Burgi something Sin. He moves 5, he's toughness 6, so he's a big tough boy. He's got a 3-up save, a 4-up invuln, 5 wounds, leadership 6, and OC of 1. He's got just a regular bolt pistol thing, you know, whatever. No big deal. In combat, though, he's got 2 different profiles. He's either got 5 attacks, hitting on 2s, no matter what this is, at 12, 3, 3, or 10 attacks at 6, 2, 1. So, he swings pretty hard. He's got lone operative. Awesome. He's got stealth. Awesome. He's got prioritized efficiency, so +1 to hit. Not that that matters. The -1 to wound on him, though, becomes really fucking annoying, because now he's -1 to hit, -1 to wound, and he has a 4-up invuln. So anything that is -1 to hit, -1 to wound, has a 4-up invuln, basically doesn't die. So then he extra doesn't die with his special ability here, Grudge-Fueled Fortitude. The first time this model is destroyed, blah blah blah, he comes back to life on a 2-up with full wounds remaining. Okay. Then we have Unhinged ability. Oh wait, it's called Unhinged Vengeance. In your opponent's shooting phase, each time an enemy unit has shot. Okay, you can only do these once per turn. That's in the 35-page second rulebook that we have, that we call the Designer's Commentary. But it says, each time an enemy unit has shot, if this model has lost 1 or more wounds as a result of those attacks, it can make a vengeance move, and to do so, it's a surge move, okay? It's a D6 + 2 surge move that gets you into combat. Awesome. Now, he has to survive, and I was only half serious when I said he's impossible to kill with -1 to hit, wound, and 4-up invuln. He's not impossible to kill, it's a pain in the ass to kill him in 1 activation at that point. So, he'll be in combat with you, and he'll probably fight before you do, because he gets to go first. Unless you charge him with something else. But then he comes back to life on a 2+, and he's hits you hard, and he's a dick, you know? So, this guy's awesome. He's 110 points, and I just like what he gives this army. He's a nice little character, he's easy to hide, lone op, can come in there, smack you in the face real hard, and he's just an asshole to kill. And when you do kill him, he comes back to life on a 2-up, so he's just really good. He's just really good. He's just really good. You kind of have to kill him in the shooting phase, right? Or something. Because, or not the shooting phase. You have to kill him in not the shooting phase. You have to kill him in the fight phase. Next up is the Call. The Call didn't change all that much. His stat line's the same, so toughness 5, moves 5, everything like moves 5 inches. So 3-up, 4-up with 4 wounds, leadership 7, OC 1. Yeah, he didn't change. His guns didn't change. His combat did change. His mass gauntlet is now AP 3 and 3 damage, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. So that's not bad. His options are the same. He can have a teleport crest or a rampart crest. He can either give the unit that he's with deep strike or a 5-up invuln. He can be attached to Einhir Hearthguard and Hearthkin Warriors. Okay. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's the same amount of points. He's 70 points. Not super enthusiastic about this guy because his abilities aren't as good. So he still gives you lethal hits. That's good. That's pretty good. Lethal hits is pretty good on an Einhir unit because they're their plasma's changed, but like now they can get twice as many shots. So it's actually useful. Anyway, the other ability that he has was that you could pick a unit you could see and give them a judgment token. It was pretty much completely useless because he wouldn't, like, things would just be dead. So, yeah, but now it's changed to once per phase. This model, one model in your army with this ability can use it when it destroys an enemy unit. When it does, you gain 1 yield point. Yeah, it's just not that interesting. It's not terrible, but it's not that great. So he can give you extra yield points, but so can the Memnir guy, which we'll go over next. And there's some other stuff that you can do to just gain yield points if you really want to get into the Fortitude one with the -1 to be wounded. Grimnir. This guy's pretty good still. Leadership 6. He really didn't change too much. Leadership 6, toughness 5 with 4 up save, 4 wounds. Moves 5 like everything else with toughness 5. His gun's really good. So he can just automatically have 6 shots. It gets hazardous, but strength 6, AP 2, D3 damage. That's a pretty good gun. So that's what he does. That's pretty much it. I mean, in combat, he's got 2 attacks at okay, but nothing special there. He gives a 5 up feel no pain to the unit that he's attached to, which is a difference. He used to give you +1 toughness. And then he has Grimnir's Regard. It lets you do the same thing. He picks a unit within 12, and they're just not battle shocked anymore. So he's fine. I think he's 60 points? 65? Let's check. What's he called? Grimnir. 65. So that's the Grimnir. Nothing really interesting there. The Corvs don't take up space in a transport. I actually didn't notice that before. So that's cool. So it's basically just like one guy in a transport then. So the Memnir Strategist. This guy's 45 points. So very cheap. And he's great for yield point manipulation and stuff. So toughness 5, 5-inch move, 4 up save, 4 wounds. Leadership 7, OC1, whatever. He's very generic. He's got a bolt pistol. He's got a close combat weapon. That's where that ends. Then you have his computational mastermind. At the end of your command phase, before you determine if units from your army have the hostile acquisition or fortify takeover, for each objective marker you control that has 1 or more models with this ability within range of it, you can spend 1 yield point or gain 1 yield point. So you can manipulate how many you have, and this is for multiple things. So if you have, one of these guys on a unit, or with a unit on your expansion, that's 1. If you have one on your home field, that's 2. So I love that. That's 2 extra yield points at the start of your command phase, plus all the caveats that you have, and it happens in both players' turns. Like, you're just at 7 if you want to be, if you take a couple of these guys. Next, he has once per battle round, while this model can use the Fire Overwatch stratagem for their unit for 0 CP, or heroically intervening, which is actually really good, because they can attach to the Steeljacks, which are the new unit. So the Ironkin Steeljacks with heavy Vulcanite disintegrators, and then the other ones, the melee weapon ones. Nothing interesting on his keywords, but he's a 45 point, gets you yield points, and helps your guys Overwatch, because they have an Overwatch ability as well, where they, like, hit on 5s or something. We'll get to them in a little bit. But that's what the Memnir Strategist does. He's pretty awesome. The Arcanist Evaluator. This guy's also pretty awesome. He's toughness 5 with 4 wounds, moves 5, like everything else. His stats are basically the same. He's got a 3-up save, though, notably, which this guy doesn't, or this guy. So 3-up save, 4 wounds. Fine. He's got a really cool gun. Either it's rapid fire 1 with 3 shots, it always hits on 2s, it's always strength 8, the AP goes up and the damage goes up, and the shots go up. So he's either, we'll say 4 shots with the rapid fire, 4 shots at 8-1-1, or at 12 inches, or at 18, he's got 5 shots at 8-2-2, or at 24, so within 12, he has 6 shots at 8-3-3. Now, if you're using the better profiles, you become hazardous. If you're using the crazy profile, you get hazardous on a 1, 2, or 3. So, very dangerous weapon to be firing there. But when you have 6 shots at 8-3-3, that's pretty good. This guy's 65 points, though. So, having the 4 wounds is good, because he won't just kill himself instantly. But, damn. Yeah, that's what he does. He gets pretty interesting, though. So his abilities. He has Deadly Demise 1? What? I didn't even notice that before. That's hilarious. Science Guild Support. While this model is within 3 inches of other friendly leagues of Votann infantry, he's a lone operative. Great. Resonance Transmutation. Once per turn, one model from your army can use this. So in your shooting phase, you can basically get sustained hits 1 by spending a yield point when he goes to shoot. If you destroy the enemy unit that he shoots at, you gain 2 yield points, which is awesome. So, this thing's sweet, but I don't know how sweet it is, because it's not that tough. You'd have to be within 12 inches in order for it to do its cool stuff. So, I don't know. I think he's funny, and I think you're going to see him, but we'll move past him for now. I just don't know how I feel about him. I feel like he's good, though. I just don't know how good. Brokir Iron Master. This guy got a little better. He's still got like 1,000 guidance. He's like a 5-man character unit, dude. So he's a character, everyone else is infantry. He is the Brokir Iron Master, so he's only got a 4-up save. He's got 4 wounds. Pretty much everything else is the same at that point. Leadership 7, OC 1, Move 5, Toughness 5. This little motherfucker comes with a Gravitation Rifle, Anti-Monster 3+, Anti-Vehicle 3+, at 18 inches, 3 shots, 5-1-3. Pretty good. You got some other stuff like the Las Beam thing, 6-3-1 with 1 shot from one of these things. One of his other guys has that. For combat, he's got the Gravitation Hammer. It's Anti-Monster, Anti-Vehicle 3+. 3 attacks on 4s, which is kind of unfortunate, but 9-1-3. So his AP isn't great, but yeah, and then the Plasma Torch is the other thing you care about there. 6-3-2 from one of these little guys. And ECOG has that. So, this guy's really cool. I forget how many points he is. He's not very many points. The points might change a little bit, but I don't think they're going to change very much. He's 75 points. I think certain things should change, specifically like these, but I don't know. I mean, they're a lot better now. Their problem is here. How did this happen? There was absolutely no reason for that to happen. So, we got the Brokir Thunderkin. Move 5, Toughness 6. 3-up save. 2 wounds. 2 fucking wounds. That's some bullshit, dude. Leadership 7, OC 1. Now, their weapons changed. Their bolt cannon, sustained 2 instead of sustained 1. 6-1-2. Pretty good. Gravitation blast thing. No longer blast. No longer D6 shots. No longer 18-inch range. Like, this thing just changed entirely. They were like, take this, throw it in the garbage. And what we got instead is something that I actually like a lot more. So it's Anti-Monster and Anti-Vehicle 3+. It was Anti-2+ before, but now it hits both those things. 24-inch range. A flat 3 shots. Strength 5, AP 2, flat 3 damage. So, yeah, really cool. The SP Conversion Beamer is also better. This now has lethal hits, which I don't remember if it had it before. I don't really care. But it's just better now because you get 2 shots with it at 7-2-3. And crits on 4-ups if you're shooting at something over 12 inches away. So, a full unit of these things, shooting 12 shots, that's pretty good. That's 6 lethal hits, so just 6 wounds at 7-2-3. That's pretty good, right? I think. The Gravitation Gun is probably where it's at, though, for sure. Because this guy, we totally skipped his abilities. This guy gives you rerolls of 1. He is alone up near Steeljacks or vehicles. And he can repair stuff. So, at the end of your movement phase, which is awesome, because when it happens in your command phase, it fucking sucks, and it doesn't make sense, and I hate it. But when it happens in your movement phase, it's awesome, because you get to move first, and it's at the end of your movement phase, not even the beginning of your movement phase, which is basically the end of your command phase. So, at the end of your movement phase, he can repair stuff within 3 inches. If he contains the Ironkin Assistant, it's just automatically 3. So, keep the Ironkin Assistant around long time. So, reroll wounds of 1, which is awesome on these guys, because he attaches to them. Because that's what that says. So, he attaches to the Brokir Thunderkin, gives them rerolls of 1. That's really good on pretty much all the weapons, especially this with Anti-Monster 3+ and Anti-Vehicle 3+. Yeah, reroll 1s on 3s is pretty good. Then you have your Breaching Fire as their ability here for the Brokir Thunderkin. Sorry I completely missed his thing. I'm kind of, like I said, this is a lot more like casual of a Codex review because you guys don't like them anyway, so yeah. These guys, I think they're still 80 or 160. Their ability, though, I'm just getting totally off track here. They take away cover, which is dope. A lot of your stuff doesn't have, like, ignores cover anymore. There's no more war gear to take ignores cover. So taking away cover is really good. So we're going to see these. These things are good in a certain detachment as well. Yeah, they're just awesome. They just need to have 3 wounds or be cheaper. Because at 80 points, dude, like, no. Just now. Just now. There's no way. There's no way you can pay 160 points for 6 of these things. Do like 10 wounds to an Imperial Knight and then be like, that was great trade, and then it literally just kills them all. Nah. 6 Marine bodies that are toughness 6, like, it's just not durable enough. Alright, so the Hearthkin Warriors. These are unchanged. Forp save, OC2, leadership 7, toughness 5, movement 5. All their weapons are pretty much the same. The Ectocarn Plasma, this... yeah, I think this changed. No, maybe not. Sustained hits D3 on that. High Las is still Assault Rapid Fire 3. Rotary is Sustained 1. Didn't change. That also didn't change. I don't think any of these changed at all. The Thean pistol changed. Right? Why? What was the fucking point? So the Thean's pistol's changed. It's no longer AP3 and 2 damage. It's AP2 and 1 damage. Okay. There's no longer ignores cover as an option. The unit can get a 5-up invuln though. They can reroll hit rolls of 1. And they still have sticky objectives. So you're still going to see this unit. I'm still going to take them if I play Votann anymore, at least this edition. These guys are still pretty good. They also come with a Feel No Pain of 6-up on the whole unit. So when you split them in half, they're all going to have that 6-up Feel No Pain as well. Pretty cool, pretty cool. This unit is just as good. You know, you lose a thing here or there, but you lose ignore cover, you know, you lose a damage on that. This thing never fucking hit or wounded when you shot it anyway. So, I don't know. It doesn't seem too bad. Seems good to me. Your options are pretty much the same. No, they're not. Up to 2 Hearthkin Warriors can have their thingy-majiggy replaced with a plasma knife. Huh. That's definitely new. I think. Thean can have the Thean melee weapon. We can have the Ion Blaster pistol thing. Yeah, okay. Just double checking everything. 2 dudes can have stuff. Duplicates are not allowed because we don't make them that way. Alright, yeah, so these are pretty much the same. They just gained all their stuff together. Nice. Alright, the Steeljacks. This is the new unit. One of the new units that we got for this codex. They are toughness 6 with 3 wounds. They have a 2-up save. And they move 5, like everything else. Leadership 7, OC of 1. Now, they have these heavy Volkite Disintegrators, which are 6 shots, 6/1/1 dev wounds. Okay. Now, they also have some combat. They come with these plasma knives, so there's 2 attacks apiece. Not great, but they have something. Weapon skill 3, 6/2/1. It's fine. The big dude can drop his disintegrator for this plasma sword if you really want to, which is 6 attacks at 6/2/1 with sustained 1. I don't know. But you can take them in units of 3 to 6. They are 80 points or 160. So these are literally the same number of points as these. As 3 of these. 3 of these is the same number of points as 3 of these. So, their abilities. Their abilities are, each time you target a unit with the Fire Overwatch, this unit with the Fire Overwatch stratagem, 5-ups are hits. If you're in the Fortified Takeover, you hit it on 4s instead. So they basically just get to shoot at you in your turn, is what that says, as long as you're in a Fortified Takeover. So you don't start in that, but it's pretty easy to gain yield points, so you can just get there. Then, you have this thing. Each time a model in the bearer's unit makes an attack that targets an enemy unit within range of an objective marker on a critical wound, you gain precision. So all your dev wounds are precision now, which is kind of interesting. But if you do the math on this, you have 36 shots, 24 hits, so 4 dev wounds on average if you're not getting any kinds of rerolls. It's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. But then you get to shoot in your opponent's turn as well. And you have abilities where you can just straight up shoot back at people. So you could have one of these units shooting at somebody 3 times, which is kind of hilarious. I do wish that they had a secondary weapon option. That's kind of lame, but oh well. Yeah, that's what you get for them. So, yeah, they're pretty good. They are, yeah, I'm just looking for certain keywords. They're infantry, which is cool. These guys are similar. They're a little bit more expensive, though. I think they're 100 points instead of 80. Yes. Yeah, so 33.333 points per model there. These guys are like 27 point something. So these guys are the same profile, but they have different weapons. They have combat weapons. So all of them have plasma swords that have sustained hits with 6 attacks, hitting on 3s, or you can have the concussion gauntlet, which is lethal hits at 10-2 with 3 attacks on 4s. Meh. Alright, what these guys do, each time an enemy unit, excluding monsters and vehicles, that is within engagement range of this unit falls back, all models in that enemy unit must take a desperate escape test. When doing so, if the enemy unit is battle shocked, subtract 1 from the test. And then you have the same thing where critical wounds are precision. Now, I don't know which one are better. 18 attacks with strength 10. Let's just say you're in your well, you're going to be hitting on 3s, right? Almost all the time. So, 12 hits. It's actually 9 hits because 3 of them are lethals. I have to play around with these, I think. 200 points, move 5 inches. Okay. That's our Steeljacks with melee weapons. Now, moving on. Oh, okay. Einherjar Champion is next. He did change a little bit. He's now toughness 5. His hammer is now AP 3, which is fucking awesome. I always was a little annoyed that it was AP 2, because I would always tell people it's like a las cannon. Literally, the only difference is that it's AP 2 instead of 3. Now it is AP 3. So, cool. Exemplar of the Einherjar, he changed a little bit. He adds 1 to your advance and charge rolls instead of giving you reroll charge rolls, because you get that for being in hostile takeover, hostile acquisition. Master Driver Accelerators, this didn't change. Each time he ends a charge move, he can do impact mortals. On a 2 to 5, it's D3. On a 6, it's D3 plus 3. I love that ability. It's so good. Losing toughness, I'm not sure how impactful that is. Being toughness 6 is pretty nice. But it never really seemed to like be the thing that kept him alive. So that's probably not too big of a deal. He did go up in points though. He went up to 70 points. Einherjar Hearthguard. I'm not convinced that these are dead. Their stat line's the same. So they're 2 wounds with a 2 up. Toughness 5 is the only difference. So they went from T6 to T5. You can still be -1 to wound on them if you're in Fortified Takeover, or whatever that one's called. I'm going to forget the names. So, that's that. They're not going to be +1 to wound anymore, though, which is a big problem. The other problem is that their grenade launcher thing, it's only D3 shots at strength 3 now. It went up in range, but, yeah, no, like, it's not +1 to wound anymore. It's a lower strength. It's just not getting it done. What it could get done now is this plasma gun. It only is strength 7, which sucks. I don't know why they changed that, but it's, 7, 3, 2, rapid fire 1. They can all have one of these things, and they hit on 3s normally, so they're shooting units that are on objectives, or if they're on an objective and also -1 to be wounded, they're hitting on 2s. It's pretty good. If you put a call in there, they have lethal hits now. A big unit of these, they're cheaper than they used to be, kind of significantly. They went down to 270 points for a 10-man, as opposed to like 320. So they dropped 50 points, which I don't know if it's enough, but they lost so much. Like yeah. All right. So what they get though is each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible target, reroll a hit roll of 1. Really would have liked to have seen reroll wound rolls of 1 or reroll all wounds if the enemy unit is on an objective. That would have been fucking sick, but that's what we got. So you can give them deep strike, you can give them a 5-up invuln. I don't think you could actually give them a 5-up invuln this way before, right? Yeah, no, you couldn't. The dude could either get a 4-up invuln on the sergeant guy, or you could get deep strike. You couldn't get this here, so that's interesting. Yeah. So their options are the same. Their melee is pretty much the same. The only difference I saw is that the concussion gauntlet went to strength 8 instead of 9, because it used to be strength 9. I'm almost positive. But yeah, that's the only difference I see. So, yeah. You probably still run these. You can't get rerolls to wound anymore from like your land fortress, which we'll go over. I don't know. But they're 135 points for 5, so little 5-man squads. They are gonna be a real pain in the ass to deal with. They're still okay in combat. It's just you're just not getting that +1 to wound anymore. I don't really mind the grenade launcher kind of going away. If I still had +1 to wound on it, I wouldn't be super upset. And at this point, cost and everything, I don't know. There's just something about it just feels something. Chthonian Berserks. These also changed massively. They move 6 now instead of 5. Okay. Actually, didn't realize that at first. They're toughness 6 now instead of 5. They have a 5-up save now instead of a 6-up. They're only 1 wound. Leadership 7, OC 1. The mole launcher is AP 1 now. Big fucking deal. They have a 4-up feel no pain rather than a 5-up feel no pain on 2 wounds. It is just worse. That's just worse. Their points didn't change, and their weapon I would have preferred to have remained the same. So their concussion maul is now anti-monster and anti-vehicle 3+, but it's only strength 5 instead of strength 9. So strength 5 AP2 3 damage. So it effectively is better against vehicles and monsters, but against everything else, it's worse. So that sucks. Sucks that they're easier to kill as well. Yeah. That's what we got. I think all your options are the same. For every 5, you can take the mole launcher. For every 5, your twin concussion gauntlet. Why would you ever use that? It's twin linked with... I mean, it's 4 attacks, twin linked, 922. I guess that's not the worst thing ever. But yeah, otherwise you can replace your plasma axe with the concussion maul. And the plasma axe is better now. 723, 3 attacks on 4s. You go with the axe now? That's interesting. Alright, well, that's what we get for these guys. They don't have grenades still, because there's... They should just give you grenades, you know? Cyber Stims, they fight on a 4-up. You add 1 to the result if you have the Fortify Takeover going on. So, cool. And then if you're doing your mole launcher stuff in your shooting phase after this model's shot, select a unit, excluding monsters and vehicles, hit by one or more of those attacks. They can't use the Fire Overwatch stratagem. So, that's after you moved and got overwatched. Okay. That is our Chthonian Berserkers. Our Chthonian Earthshakers, I'm half tempted to just fucking skip, because they're fucking awful. Yeah, they move 4, they have toughness 6, 6 wounds, 4 save, leadership 7, OC 2. They come with this, you can actually switch which thing they have, but it's either the Ordnance Breacher or the Tremor Shells. So, let me just make sure I didn't fuck that up. 2 of those Breacher plasma picks. Yeah, okay. Their combat is actually kind of good. So, they have this Breacher thing. Blast, heavy, indirect fire. It only shoots 24 inches. And it's strength 10, only AP 1, and only 2 damage. Cool. Hits on 5s, dude. Cool stuff. Yeah, it's heavy. It hits on 4s now. Woo! D6 plus 1 shots with that good weapon there. Cool. Tremor Shells is blast, heavy, and indirect fire. 36, D6 plus 4. Strength 6, AP 1, 1 whole damage. hitting on 5s. Yeah, these are fucking terrible. You get 2 of them in a unit. They have these abilities. In your shooting phase, after this unit has shot, select one unit hit by those attacks. They take a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from the result. Okay. Then they have Geomantic Hunters. Is that what that says? Yeah. Twice per game. In your shooting phase, when this unit is selected to shoot, it can use this ability, and if it does, until the end of the phase, each time a model in the unit makes an attack with its breach or ordnance, you can reroll the wound. So that's not bad. But, like, it's AP 1. And it's 2 damage. What is this good against? So, okay. I get max shots, right? Against your Space Marine squad, let's say. Sure, whatever. Your Space Marine squad. Max shots. 7 shots, 9 shots. I hit with 5. Because I hit with more, I'll probably fail a wound. Take 4 3-up saves. I killed 1 Space Marine. Okay, that's a bad example, because we want to reroll wounds, right? Okay, I shoot at your fucking Predator. I get 7 shots. I hit with 4. I wound with 2. I wound with 3. You still have a 3-up save. You fail 1 of them and take 2 damage. These are bad, dude. These are fucking terrible. Now, it would double, obviously. You'd have 2 of them. So, no. Like, you're just not taking them. How many points are these? Probably like 100 points apiece. Or maybe like 80. What are these things called? Chthonian Earthshakers? They're 95 points of pure garbage. Holy shit, dude. Holy fucking shit. No. Am I missing something here? Because these are bad. Next. Let's get through this. We got 2 more pages, I think. Maybe 3. Hearthkin Jaegers. These are the same? No, they move 6. Okay. They changed a little bit because they move 6 now. But they're otherwise the same. T5, 5-up save, 1 wound, leadership 6, OC1. AMP launcher is the same. I have literally never done damage with it. I have played, I don't even know how many games with Leagues of Votann. Every time I've shot this, it's either missed, failed to wound, or my opponent's made the save. So, I stopped taking it. But it's really good. I mean, it's anti-monster, anti-vehicle, 3-up, so you should be doing damage with it when you're not me, rolling like shit. D6 damage. It's good. It's just a good weapon. Magna Coil Rifle, you can take that if you want. I just don't anymore because it just literally never does anything. I'd rather have the Plasma Knife. Strength 4, AP 2, 1 damage. That might change now, though, now that I can't get +1 to wound. But these guys infiltrate. They still have their reactive move of D6. You take them in units of 10. Dude can take a rifle. Dude can take an AMP launcher. The rest of them are going to have plasma knives. If you're not a heathen. And that's this unit. Then you have the Pioneers. These are actually 80 points now. The Jaegers, let's check their points. They're probably the same. Hearthkin Jaegers, right? Hearthkin Jaegers, where are you? 90 points. So the Pioneers, they are pretty much the same stat-wise. Yep, they are the same. Fly, grenades, yep. Okay, 3 wounds, T6, Scout 9. The only difference, really, is that they're cheaper now, which is nice. And they can no longer ignore cover, which sucks. Their weapons are the same. Their Magna Coil autocannon thing is the same. Everything's the same. So your high las is, 6, 1, 1, 1 damage with sustained. Your autocannons are going to be 7, 1, 2. 3 shots apiece at 24. Yeah. So your Searchlight, you get to ignore any modifiers to your hit roll, which I think is different. And then your other one lets you reroll wounds of 1. The thing that lets you ignore cover before, now lets you reroll, did I say wounds? It lets you reroll hits of 1. So, that's pretty good, Is it better than having ignores cover? Certainly not. But they are also cheaper. Now, their ability here, they have to be wholly within 9 inches to jump off now. Before, they had to just be within 6 of a table edge. This limits where they go a little bit, but not all that much. They're usually hopping on and off the table anyway, so you're, ending within 9 of it. So, yeah, it's not too big of a deal. Capricious Defender. Capricious? Yeah. So it moves 12, toughness 7, 4-up save, 7 wounds, leadership 7, OC2. Has this high las rotary cannon that you can take, which is 2 damage on this one. That's kind of interesting. Just doesn't ignore cover, which fucking bullshit. So the thing that's cool about this is the Magna Rail Cannon Dev wounds, heavy. It's a railgun, a 24-inch railgun, which makes 0 sense. And I will die on that hill. 14 for D6 plus 3. This thing should have a unlimited range practically, but, you know. It then has the twin magna-coil autocannon, so a twin-linked thing that these guys have, that the Pioneers get. Same thing. 712, but twin-linked here. Not ignoring cover. They technically have combat. They have smoke, and they have a reactive move after they shoot, which is sweet. They also have Scout 9 inches. These are interesting. They're like 70 points apiece. I'm pretty sure they're 70, and this is 75. Yeah. Reactive move, put 2 of them in a unit, right? 2 guys in a unit. Boom, boom. 140 points. 2 railguns at you. They're just not that much damage. So maybe you take 2 of them and take the Hylas, and then also just go with the twin magna-coil autocannons, and then move them behind a wall. Because you only need to pop out just a little bit to shoot, and then, so even if you roll a 1, you should try to hide them. They're pretty cool. These are actually pretty cool. They're 70 points, so I don't know if that's how many points they should be, because they only have a 4-up save, and they're not a higher toughness. I don't know. I'm not sure, but the reactive move, that could become interesting for sure. So I like these things. I'm going to try them out. Then we have the carrier. It's the same. The only difference is that it has firing deck 5, and its weapons are different. It has a magna-coil autocannon, and then a twin magna-coil autocannon. So instead of having this thing, it's got like a smaller gun. This, though, in your shooting phase, after it shoots, you select a unit that was hit by the attacks, and they're -1 to hit. So it makes people suppressed. Very, very nice. Has smoke as well, and then it can also split stuff in half, but it has to be your Hernkin Jaegers, so it has to be the infiltrator guys. But that means this vehicle then has Scout 9 inches and infiltrate, which is actually awesome, in case you didn't hear. So that's pretty cool. This thing is 75 points. Doesn't have any... It is a dedicated transport. I was going to say, it doesn't have any interesting abilities. 75 points? Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's what we got for those. Then we're on the Sagittar, the Land Fortress, and I think that is it. We can go over the detachments. Definitely a longer video than I expected. Jesus Christ. Alright, Sagittar. No longer toughness 10. It is toughness 9. Still has 9 wounds. I wish they'd flip that. At least, because that... You know, because, like, it means you need to take 5 hits from a 2 damage weapon. Which you still need to take 5 hits from a 2 damage weapon. But you need to take 4 hits from a 3 damage weapon, which is the same thing as other vehicles. Hylas Beam Cannon, no longer sustained D3. But it is D6 plus 1 damage. So gained a little bit, lost a little bit. It's still good. This is only 95 points now. So it did go down by 20 points, which is pretty significant. The Mater autocannon, yeah, that's interesting. It has assault and sustained 1. I don't think the Mater autocannon had... It definitely didn't have sustained before. Twin bolt cannon has sustained 2. The missile launcher, strength 10, AP 3 damage. That with 2 shots. I think you probably just go with the las cannon, right? Yeah. Yep, you either go with the las cannon or the Mater autocannon, because that thing's pretty interesting now. So, same thing here. When you advance out of this thing, you can still get out. It can take upgrades or change its weapon out, and then it also can split your Hearthkin warriors in half. It cannot transport steel jacks or exoframe or any of that other shit. It can only transport your little dudes. Dedicated transport. Yep, nothing interesting there. And then you got your Hecaton. This thing is 225, so this didn't change. Pretty much the same, except for this. This is the same. Moves 10, toughness 12, 2-up save, 16 wounds with a leadership of 7 and OC of 5. Cyclic Ion, this changed, I think. It's D6 plus 2 shots at 722 with blast. The heavy Magna Rail Cannon definitely changed. It's 30 inches, 2 shots, strength 18, AP 4, D6 plus 4 damage with dev wounds, of course, because it's a railgun. That's awesome. The Hecaton Warhead... Does it just have that now? No. Okay. It does not just have that. So this is the same. D6 plus 3 shots at 722. Maybe? I don't know. That's not a bad weapon, though. 722 isn't bad, but it's only a one-shot weapon. The SB Conversion Beamer, it's AP2 now. It's 4 damage, but it does not ignore cover. And it's not sustained. It's lethal. Yeah, nah. You definitely go with the railgun on this guy, for sure. Ion Beamer, still 1 damage, don't care. So you're going to take the bolt cannon. It's sustained 2 now. Twin Links is great. 612, hell yeah. Alright, so that's what that is. It does reroll 1s. Or, sorry, yeah. So it rerolls 1s if you take the scanner, which you're going to do, because it's got a ton of shots. Each time this model makes a ranged attack, you can ignore any or all modifiers for the hit roll. That's pretty good, so it's always hitting on 3s, rerolls 1s. Not bad. It's got a bunch of guns. You know, it's going to have this Mater autocannon on it, right? Mater autocannon. So 12, 14 shots, all rerolling 1s to hit. Not bad. And that, my friends, is the end of the Codex. So, let's take a look at these detachments now and see what we got. I think this is the first one. Yeah, alright. So, detachment number 1 is going to be Need Guard Oathband. Each time an enemy unit is destroyed, you gain a yield point. That's pretty useful. It just straight up helps your army. And this is our Oathband detachment. This was changed. So, this is good. Every time you destroy a unit, gain a yield point. Well, when you're gaining yield points, you can do stuff with them, and you can become -1 to be wounded, which is awesome. So, this detachment is going to rely on these to do cool things. The first enhancement that you have, Oathbound Speculator. Let me look at these, because we care about this time. Oathband Speculator, 30 points. Yeah, it's good. Each time a model in the bearer's unit makes an attack, reroll a wound roll of 1. Each time the bearer's unit is selected to shoot or fight, you can spend 3 yield points. If you do until the end of the phase, each time a model in the bearer's unit makes an attack, add 1 to the wound roll. In addition, so reroll wounds, adding 1 to wound. Yeah, you put that on something like Terminators, probably, with plasma guns, and then they just actually kill something. This brings back a little bit of your +1 to wound now, so I like that a lot. And it gives you the rerolls. This is just great. It's just great. Then you have Dead Reckoning. At the end of the turn, if you didn't spend any yield points, you can gain 1. Also very nice for manipulating stuff. You pop this on a Memnir guy. Now he can get you 2. That's pretty cool. What is this? This is stupid. You can equip it to a dude with a bolter, and you can spend yield points to increase the damage of the weapon. It's AP 0. So, yeah. Then you have the Ancestral Crest. Excuse me. Once per turn, when you target the bearer's unit with the command reroll stratagem, he can use this enhancement. If he does, you can spend a yield point to reduce the cost by 1. No. You don't do that. Then we have the stratagems. Void Hardened is the first one. You have to be in Fortify Takeover to use this, but it's Armor of Contempt. 1 CP. Then you have Honor of the Hold. This is in the fight phase. You select a Leagues of Votann unit that hasn't fought. You can use up to 3 yield points, and then you select an enemy unit with an engagement range until the end of the phase. Each time a model in your unit makes a melee attack that targets them, and you improve the armor penetration by 1. So just straight up AP +1. Great. Ooh. My Las Cannon Hammer champion guy, he's now AP 4. His little Terminators that he's with are now AP 3. But if you wanted to use those 3 yield points, now they're AP 5, and then AP 4 on the guys. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool. This is it used to just be +1 AP for each judgment token you had. Now it's +1 AP, and then you can be +2 AP, which is pretty cool. Ordered Retreat, completely unchanged. Fallback, shoot, and charge. This is really good. It's a silly stratagem, and I use it practically every game. Ancestral Sentence, this is changed a little bit, but it effectively is the same thing. So when you target something, you can get sustained 1. If you spend 3 yield points, it becomes sustained 2. So put this and this together and murder an Imperial Knight. Probably not. Hunter's Mark, 1 CP. Reroll hits and wounds of 1. It's a shooting phase thing that you get to do in your turn. Yeah, that's great. That's really good. It's 1 CP. You just pick any unit. It just gets it. This is just all Leagues of Votann. This detachment is just everything in your army gets stuff. So, yeah, that's really good. Reroll hits and wounds of 1. So, yeah, this replaced the useless one that we never used. Because you still have Reactive Reprisal for 2 CP. Opponent shooting phase just after an enemy unit shot. Now, it only works if you're in Fortify Takeover, which is different now. But you just get to shoot back at them, only if they're eligible, and you have to shoot that same enemy unit. Yeah, so, that's Oathband. I like it. I actually really like it still. Sustain 2 is stupid. Reroll hits and wounds of 1 is just great, especially because you have high strength stuff in this army, unlike Tau. Plus 2 AP still. I still have that. I love that. Fallback shoot and charge. I still have that. Fuck yeah, dude. Armor Contempt, I still have it. Now, these are limited in when you can use them, but getting into Fortified Takeover, it's not that hard, especially when you have shit like this, and Memnirs, and you control extra objectives, and you get it on your opponent's turn and your turn. Like, you can get there, you know? And this incentivizes you to, plus this, right? Your detachment rules literally get extra. So, and these incentivize you to use them. So, I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I like it a lot. I just don't know how much I like the units changing. So that's our Oathband. Let's move on. Prosecution Prospect. Assailed from every angle. This is actually pretty cool. So, Leagues of Votann units from your army have this ability. Basically, when they shoot at something, it's assailed. So I target a unit, I roll to hit. If I hit it, it's assailed. Okay? Then, if a different unit shoots it, then it becomes pinned. So it's also -2 to move and -2 to its charge. Pretty cool. So you can do this to multiple things. You literally can, like, pick a unit, it's pinned. Because you shoot 2 things at it. Pick a different unit, pick 2 things, shoot at it, now that unit's pinned. So that's pretty cool. And it's pretty cool. So it being assailed affects enhancements and stuff. Like this. So the first one is I for weakness. Leagues of Votann model only. Each time a model in the bearer's unit makes an attack that targets an assailed unit, add 1 to the wound roll. Great. So I target a unit, I shoot it, it's assailed. This other unit targets it, shoots it, I'm +1 to wound. Great. Now, we have to take note here. This doesn't affect monsters and vehicles, this assailed thing. So we have stuff that can do it, which is one of these enhancements, but it doesn't hit monsters and vehicles. Okay, so Writ of Acquisition, Leagues of Votann model only. In your shooting phase, after the bearer's unit has shot, you gain a yield point for each assailed enemy unit that was hit by 1 or more of those attacks, to a maximum of 3. Wait, what? In your shooting phase, I didn't read this very well the first time. After the bearer's unit has shot, you gain 1 yield point for each assailed enemy unit that was hit by 1 or more of those attacks. Okay. So does that mean... Does that mean if there's 3 different assailed units and he shoots at them, like you just split fire, you get them then? Or could you split fire, assail all... Pick... Wait, hang on. Do 1 or more of those attacks. Select 1 enemy unit. Okay, yeah, so they would have to already be assailed. Got it. But that's a way to generate 3 points right there. Or you could just use the evaluator guy and just blow shit up and then get 2. Suicidal Saboteur. Surgical Saboteur, not suicidal. Leagues of Votann model only. In your shooting phase, after the bearer's unit has shot, select a monster or vehicle hit by 1 or more of those attacks until your next shooting phase, it's pinned. So I don't think... Okay, yeah, so it doesn't actually become assailed. It just becomes pinned. I think I read that wrong the first time. Then you have the Nomad Strategist. Leagues of Votann model only. Once per phase at the end of your opponent's fight phase with bearers on the battlefield, it can use the enhancement. If it does, you can spend up to 4 yield points. Select 1 Hernkin unit from your army, and for every 2 yield points you spent, select 1 additional Hernkin unit from your army. You can remove those units from the battlefield and place them into strategic reserve. Oh, I totally forgot to look at the points for these other ones. I'm sorry, guys. Dead Reckoning. Look at that real quick. So, Dead Reckoning, 10 points. Yeah, that's good. Iron Ambassador, please be 0 points. Iron Ambassador, 5 points. Okay. And then Ancestral Crest, this should also be 5 points, but it's not. It's 15 fucking points. Okay. So Eye for Weakness is going to be like 25 points? Where are we? Prosecution Prospect. Yeah, 25 points. Okay. Wood of Acquisition is going to be 10 points. Surgical Saboteur, 10 points. And then Nomad is going to be the last one here for 20 points. So you can put stuff into reserve. That's pretty interesting, because I'm pretty sure some of our vehicles here are Hernkin units, right? Well, one of them was, at least. Come on. Hernkin. Hernkin. Okay. So yeah, you can pop those things into reserve. That's pretty crazy. Okay. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Next. I just spent like 5 minutes trying to pronounce this. Avarice? Adaptable Avarice? Whatever. At the start of any phase, if units from your army are within the fortified takeover, you target a character unit. Each time you use this stratagem, you can spend any number of yield points. Once you do so, if you have 6 or fewer, until the start of your next turn, units from your army have the hostile acquisition thingy instead. So this is interesting because this allows you to, because it goes off in your command phase, so this allows you to do it at any point, just at the end of any phase. You can just be like, you know what, I'm going to ditch this many things, little points, and I'm going to go into a different doctrine, basically, immediately, which is pretty cool. Because that means that you could be +1 to your advances and charges, or, right? Is it reroll? I think it's reroll your advances and charges as part of your hostile acquisition. Next is Frontier Momentum for 1 CP. It's in your movement phase. You target a Hinkir, right? Herdkin. Till the end of the phase, they just auto-advance 6. Good for getting on objectives. That's about it. Exposed Flaws, 1 CP in your shooting phase. Target a Hernkin unit. Each time you use this stratagem, you can spend 2 yield points until the end of the phase. Each time a model in your unit makes an attack, if you spent a yield point, and the target is assailed, you can reroll the wound roll. Okay. There's only a couple of Hernkin units. Rerolling wounds on the little bike type things are pretty good. Are those Hernkin? Hang on. Are the bikes Hernkin? Like the actual bikes? Let's double check. I don't actually remember what page they were on. Come on. They are Hernkin. That's interesting. That is quite interesting. Ranger Tactics, 1 CP. It's in your shooting phase. Leagues of Votann unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot. Till the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, if it targets an assailed unit, and it has, or if you have the Hernkin keyword, you can reroll the hit roll. You don't really need that because a lot of them are probably, well, not a lot of them. The Pan Spectral Scanner gives you reroll 1s to hit. So I guess I'm just thinking of the bikes. Not useful on the bikes, but maybe useful on everything else. Claims Stalker, Claims Taker? Yeah, Claims Taker's Reflex, 1 CP. It's in your opponent's movement phase just after an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move. You target a League of Votann unit within 9 inches. You can spend yield points. You can spend up to 2. Your unit can make a normal move of D6. If you spent the yield points, it's just automatically 6. And this is what I mean, dude. This drives me fucking crazy. Restriction. A unit cannot embark within a transport as part of this move. Why? Why do some of them have the restriction literally printed on it and other ones don't? Like, there's so many 1 CP strats that you can use in your opponent's turn that just let you make a normal move and that don't have a restriction, that were printed recently. So, I don't get it. Like, I know I sound kind of annoyed, and it's because I am. Just make the rules the same. Anyway, the last one that we got is Dispersed Formation. This is in your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit selects its target. You target a Leagues of Votann infantry unit or a mounted unit. Okay, so the bikes. that was selected as the target of those attacks until the end of the phase. Your unit has stealth, and each time a ranged attack targets your unit, models in your unit have the benefit of cover. Alright. It's only on infantry, so or mounted, so you can't do it on the tanky things, the new tanky things. Very good. That's the Prosecution prospect. I don't think it's all that bad, honestly. Next we got Delve Assault Shift. Fury from the Delve. Alright, Chthonian Berserkers have Deep Strike. They also have Battle Line. They're 200 points for 10 of them. So if you want to spend 1,200 points on 6 units of these fucking things, feel free to do that and lose every game. Yeah. Delve Work Navigator. Check the points on this guy. Delve Work Navigator. We're here. 25 points. Leagues of Votann model only in the reinforcement step of your movement phase. The bearer can use this if it does. Select a Chthonian Berserker's unit visible to the bearer. Spend any number of YP yield points. Return 1 destroyed model to that unit, and then for every 2 yield points you spend, return 1 additional model to that unit. So you can just snort a bunch of yield points and bring back like a whole unit if you really want to. Them deep striking is interesting. Makes them pretty cool for rapid ingress. I don't know, man. Like, there's so many 2 damage weapons and only have 1 wound. So, yeah, I don't know. If I just hit you with a bunch of 2 damage weapons and you just die because you fail at 1 out of every 2, I don't know. They just shouldn't be 200 points, I don't think, for a 10-man. Anyway, Multi-Wave System Jammer is 10 points. Once per battle in your movement phase, if the bearer is on the battlefield, it can use this enhancement. If it does, select a Chthonian unit in reserve until the end of the phase for the purposes of setting that unit up on the battlefield. Treat the current battle round as being 1 higher. It's only in your movement phase, so you cannot do this when you rapid ingress. And you can basically deep strike a unit that gets to reroll charges because it's in hostile acquisition to start on turn 1 and hit something with 30 attacks that are either strength 7 AP2 for 3 or strength 5 AP2 for 3 with anti-monster and anti-vehicle 2 up or a 3 up. It's like a 49% chance or 48% chance to make that charge. So, I don't know. That's an option. You don't have to do that with it. You can just put them in a good spot or something, but Quake Supervisor. 20 points. 20 points. Leagues of Votann model only. While he's within 3 inches of your artillery, he has lone op. Each time those artillery target a thing that he can see, you add 1 to the hit roll. Wow, that's fucking garbage, huh? Yeah, it's pretty bad. Because they're firing out of line of sight. So the thing that they're shooting at, he's not going to be able to see, probably. Like, what is this? Pile Driver, Leagues of Votann model only. Each time the bearer's unit is selected to fight, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, spend up to 2 yield points. And until the end of the phase, add the number of yield points you just spent to the damage characteristic of the bearer's melee weapon. So, you definitely take that on, like, something with a lot of attacks, like, Plasma Sword or something like that. Yeah. 4 damage Plasma Sword thing? That seems pretty good. Hello, kitty cat. Alright, so for our enhancements, we got Cyber Stim Infusion for 1 CP. This is in the fight phase. Chthonian Berserker is a target, and it has to be one that hasn't fought yet. You can re-roll wound rolls of 1, and you can use 2 yield points. If you spend yield points, you can just full re-roll the wounds. That's really good. That's really good. Even just re-roll wounds of 1 on anti-monster, anti-vehicle 3+. It's pretty good. This is especially good if you don't take that weapon. If you take just the strength 7 weapon. It's just because it's good against a lot more things. So that's pretty good. It's a pretty good one. Unstoppable Force, fight phase, Leagues of Votann unit from your army, so anything. Doesn't have to be Chthonian Berserkers. Pile in and consolidate 6 inches. It's pretty good. That is also very, very good. It's good situationally, for sure. Like when your whole army can do it, like World Eaters, oh my god, it's fucking busted. But when it's just one unit, it has to be used correctly, but when used correctly, it can be very, very good. Augmented Assault for 1 CP, it's in your movement phase. Chthonian Berserks are the target. Each time you use the stratagem, you can spend yield points. Until the end of the turn, you add X to the movement characteristic, where X is the number of yield points you spent, and they can advance and charge. So those things move 6 now, remember. So you could spend like 4 points, now they move 10, plus an advance roll, which they get to re-roll if they're in hostile acquisition. And then they can charge you, which they can also re-roll because they're in hostile acquisition. And then hit you with 30 attacks. Anti-monster 3 up with 3 damage each at AP2. That's a thing they could do. That is a thing that they can fucking do. Or they could hit you with 30 attacks at strength 7 AP2 for 3. My god. Tectonic Fracture, 1 CP. This is in your shooting phase after the Earthshaker shoot. This is basically the slowdown thing. The difference here is that it doesn't hit your advance roll anymore, which it used to. Then you have Weave Work Buttress. 1 CP in your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit selects its targets. If you're in hostile acquisition, so you have to be in that. You target a Leagues of Votann unit from your army that was the target of those attacks. Subtract 1 from the wound roll. Well, you can kind of already do that, but as you would notice, it says hostile acquisition, so it knows that you're not getting the -1 to wound from the other thing, from the fortified takeover, so it basically gives you that. Pretty cool. Hidden access ways. End of your opponent's fight phase, one Chthonian Berserk or Hearthkin, warriors, or Jaegers, and pop them into Strategic Reserve, baby. Nice, and then they can just deep strike in next turn. So, this is interesting with the strats and everything. I just don't like I don't like these things anymore. They're... it just makes me feel so sad, man. Losing the 2 wounds is going to be such a pain in the ass. It's going to be such a pain in the ass. And the fact that there's still 200 points, like, in what world are you paying 100 points for 5 models with 1 wound? When they have fucking Feel No Pain 2+, that's when. Like, nah. Nah. This is okay, though. As a detachment itself, like strats, enhancements, all this, it's got good stuff. It's just, not for me. Then we have the Brand Fast Oathband. This is going to be our transport-based one. So, Leagues of Votann units from your army have the following ability. While a friendly Leagues of Votann infantry unit is wholly within 6 inches of a transport, ranged weapons equipped by that infantry unit have sustained 1. The problem is that you have to be wholly within 6 inches of the transport. That's a problem, because you can't always be wholly within 6 inches of a transport. And my cat's going nuts as always. One of them is. So, yeah, we have to be wholly within 6 inches of the transport, which is not ideal. It limits where you can be. So, in order to get your detachment rule, you have to be, yeah. So, it's not bad, it's not great. It just is. So the first one's Tactical Alchemy. This one, Brand Fast, is Tactical Alchemy is 10 points. Call model only in your command phase. If the bearer is within range of an objective, you can spend a yield point. If you do, on a 4+, you gain a CP. Where were we? So, no, we're not doing that. Trivarg Cyber Implant. Trivarg Cyber Implant is 30 points. Oh man, what's this do? So in your shooting phase, each time the bearer's unit is selected to shoot, if it disembarks from a transport, or if you spend 2 yield points until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in that unit have sustained 2. What? What? That's really good. So, wow. Yeah. That's nuts. I'm just thinking, okay, there's so many cool things you could put that on. So, you would put that on probably one of 3 things. The Steeljacks with the Volkites. The, Brokir Iron guys, you know, the dudes with the grav guns. Or the Terminators with plasma guns. with a call to give them sustained. Wow. Or to give them lethal, not sustained. Yeah, so, wow, that's really good. That's why it's 30 points. That's crazy. That's really good. Damn, I wish I could take 2 of them. Then I could actually, like, still do damage with Terminators, maybe. Precursive Judgment is the next one. That one is 15 points. While he's wholly within 6 inches of a transport, you can target the bearer's unit with a fire overwatch stratagem for 0 CP, and they hit on a 5. Seems good on Terminators. Or the Prosecution Thunderkin. Just saying. Signature Restoration, Iron Master guy only. Each time he repairs something, he repairs it for an additional 1. And that is 5 points. That's probably worth it. So, is there a world where we just run a bunch of the like the new tanks as units of 2? So if you took their 140 points, so you'd be looking at 420 points, right? 300 plus another 120, yeah. So 420 points. Just take a bunch of the Broke Your Thunder guys, a bunch of these things, the Iron Masters, to repair a bunch of shit. Alright, secure positions are first stratagem. End of any phase, if units from your army have hostile acquisition, you target a transport. 1 Leagues of Votann unit embarked within that transport can disembark, and when doing so, you can set them up wholly within 6 inches of the transport. No restriction for enemy units here. So, you can create walls, which is the first thing I thought of. I'm like, okay, so you're done your shooting phase? Okay. At the end of your shooting phase, I'm going to disembark 6 inches away, out of the way and prevent you from charging into my land fortress or something like that. That's pretty interesting. There's probably other weird stuff you can do here. Like at the end of the opponent's fight phase, you could disembark then onto an objective and then just claim it. That's really good, right? Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. Bastion running, 1 CP. It's in your movement phase. You target a land fortress specifically, and that hasn't moved yet. It can move through terrain. Okay, that's nice. I like being able to move through terrain. Illuminated Priority, 1 CP. In your shooting phase, just after Leagues of Votann vehicle has shot, you target that unit, select the unit hit by those attacks. Till the end of the phase, each time a Leagues of Votann infantry unit from your army targets that unit, you reroll a hit roll of 1. Yeah. Where's my full rerolls to hit so that I can give this to something and just kill anything? Inexorable Efficiency. Your shooting phase. Target League of Votann unit. Till the end of the phase, it's eligible to shoot in a turn in which it fell back. Great. It can't charge, but shooting is good enough. Opportunistic Escalation. It's in your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit shot. If units from your army have hostile acquisition. So you see a lot of these strats have that restriction where you have to be in one thing or the other. Not necessarily in this detachment, just over the Codex. 1 Leagues of Votann vehicle from your army, excluding the Hecaton, that was hit by those attacks, it can make a normal move of up to D6 inches. That's pretty cool. Because your one unit already has a reactive move. So, yeah, you can reactive move again, which is sweet. Vengeance Flare 2 CP. Oh man. So it's in your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit shot. You target a Leagues of Votann infantry unit that was hit by one or more of those attacks. Each time you use the stratagem, you can spend 2 yield points. Select one friendly blah. So either the 2 little transports, like I can't say this, Capricious or Sagittar, within 6 inches of that infantry unit. If you spent your yield points during the use of the stratagem, you can select a land fort instead. That's within 6. The selected unit can shoot as if it were your shooting phase, but it has to select the enemy unit, and only if it's eligible. So it's basically reactive reprisal with different words. So, that is our Brandfast Oathband, and it's got some cool stuff. It's got some really cool stuff. Being able to move through terrain is awesome. Falling back and shooting, really nice. Rerolling hits of 1 for all of your infantry units that target that same thing, that's really good when you have things like sustained hits. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Not crazy good, but pretty good. Yeah, alright, so that's going to be that. And the last one that we have, so we can round out this fucking 90-minute video that wasn't supposed to be anything close to this length. Hearthfire Arsenal. Optimal application. At the end of your command phase, you gain 1 yield point for each objective marker you control that's not within your deployment zone, and has 1 or more Ironmaster or Memnir Strategist models from your army within a range of it, to a maximum of 2. In your shooting phase, each time a Brokir, Steeljacks, or Evaluator from your army is selected to shoot, you can spend a yield point. If you do, until the end of the phase, they can reroll a hit roll of 1. Okay, so that means that your Brokir dudes are, right, your Thunderer guys, they're rerolling hits of 1 and wounds of 1, because you're going to put a Ironmaster with them, hopefully. So yeah, reroll hits and wounds of 1, hitting on 3s probably. That becomes pretty scary. It's just that unit only has 2 wounds. So that's cool. That's pretty cool. Then you get extra yield points for objectives you control, which that just helps your army rule. So this is pretty cool. Helps you get into -1 to be wounded a lot faster. And those Steeljacks are going to be pretty annoying to kill when they're -1 to be wounded, with a toughness 6 and 2 up save, 3 wounds. Yeah. And then obviously they're going to be +1 to hit as well. Cool. Anyway. Farstrider node. The Farstrider node. I'm pretty sure that's how you actually pronounce that. We are in this guy. 20 points. So, it gives you Deep Strike, and that's for the Ironmaster or a Memnir Strategist. So basically what this says is your Brokir Thunderkin or your Steeljacks have Deep Strike, and that's pretty cool. Calculated Tenacity. 15 points. Add 1 of the objective control characteristics, so it's Ironmaster or Memnir guy. Add 1 to your objective control for models in that unit. That's actually not terrible on the Steeljacks, because I'm pretty sure the Steeljacks are only OC1, right? Yeah, so making those OC2, it's pretty good. It's only on 1 unit, though. Mantle of Elders, 10 points, and the last one's 5, right? Yeah. So Mantle of Elders, Memnir Strategist. Each time the bearer's unit is selected to shoot, you can spend a yield point. If you spend a yield point using the optimal application detachment rule, this. When doing so, you can roll a d6 on 2+, you gain a yield point. Okay. If you spend a yield point using that, so this. So basically you just get it back. And then Gravitation Vault, Ironmaster only. In your shooting phase after he's shot, and in the fight phase after he has fought, select an enemy or enemy vehicle or monster hit by his attacks until the start of your next turn. It's suppressed. While it's suppressed, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Okay. Sweet. I love it. Then we have our strats. The first one's 2 CP, Unwavering Accuracy. It's in your shooting phase. You target Brokir Thunderkin. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in the unit makes an attack, it can ignore any or all modifiers to the attack's ballistic skill, hit roll, wound roll, and attacks. That attacks armor penetration characteristics. So basically, all the stuff you care about. Does not affect the damage characteristic. So maybe not all the things you care about. Most of the things you care about. First concern. But do you really care about when you're -1 to wound on anti-monster, anti-vehicle 2+? It doesn't matter. Or 3+, but like it doesn't matter at that point. So that's kind of strange. First concern. In your shooting phase, just after a Brokir, Ironkin, or Steeljack's unit or an Evaluator shot, you target that unit. If it remains stationary, it can make a normal move. What's that? I can move it into a transport? Yes, I can. Great. That's awesome. I realize it's in my turn, but I'm just saying. That's very good, though, because that means you can basically be in a spot, like maybe you rapid ingress or something, with this, right? You rapid ingress with this, and then you shot something, and then you get to move and get into a transport, or just move and get onto an objective, or move and get out of line of sight. That's very good. That's very, very good. Delayed fire rounds for 1 CP, to your shooting phase, Brokir, Ironkin, or the Evaluator. Target that unit. Select one enemy unit, excluding monsters and vehicles, hit by those attacks until the start of your next shooting phase. Each time that enemy unit makes a normal advance or fallback move, roll 1d6 for each model in the unit. On a 1, they suffer a mortal wound. Yeah, not that interesting, honestly. Wall of Steel, 1 CP. Your charge phase, just after your Steel Jacks ends a charge move, you target that unit. Each time you use this stratagem, you can spend 2 yield points. Select one enemy unit, excluding monsters and vehicles, with an engagement... Why? With an engagement range of your unit, and roll 1d6 for each model in your unit. Each time you use the stratagem, you can spend stuff. Select one enemy unit within engagement range of your unit, and roll d6 for each model in your unit, rolling 2 additional d6 if you spent any yield points. On a 4+, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So you would get 8, right? You would get 8 total points, and you just need to touch with one guy. It doesn't say models within engagement range. It says if you select an enemy unit within engagement range, and then you roll d6 for each model in your unit. So that's interesting. That means you can tank shock with this unit, not against monsters and vehicles for some odd fucking reason. But that's what they do. That's pretty good. I mean, especially if you spend the yield points on it, that's 4 mortal wounds. And if it's on the shooty guys, they suck in combat. So it's kind of cool. Yeah. Alright, then the next one is Preventative Purge, 1 CP. It's in your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit ends a fallback move. Target your same dude, so Brokir, Ironkin. They can shoot as if it were the shooting phase. They can only target that enemy unit, and they are -1 to the hit roll. That's pretty good. Yeah, you're -1 to hit, but it's basically an Overwatch. It's 1 CP, so it's 1 CP, it's an Overwatch, and it's a better Overwatch because you're basically hitting on 4s, because you're hopefully hitting on 3s normally, because they're, you know, depending on your army roll. So that's really good. So 1 CP, shoot back at you for fucking on 4s. Then we have Cogitated Need. This is 1 CP. End of your opponent's movement phase. You target a Steeljax unit from your army. They can make a normal move. End of your opponent's movement phase. Make a normal move. It must move as close as possible to the closest objective marker. No restriction about getting inside a transport. Okay. I don't want the restriction. I'm just saying there's no fucking consistency. Alright, so that's it. This is great. This is very good. Normal move after shooting. Reactive. We have 2 reactive moves. What? Okay. Yeah, so you have 2 reactive moves. You got Impact Mortals. What's this one do? This is fine. This is dumb. Shoot back at you. Deep Strike's great. Reroll hits of 1, just kind of army-wide by spending your yield points. I like this a lot. I like this detachment as well. So, really, the only detachment that I really don't like that much is this one. This even has some cool stuff. I think my favorite, though, is still Oathband. I think it's still Oathband. It's still got all the strats that I know and love. They're basically the same. I spend my yield points to make them the same, which, fine. Like, that's kind of what my army does now. This gives me yield points. I can be +1 to wound again with a Terminator unit. I like it. I think the army yeah, well, okay, I'm not going to make lists or anything right now. I'll probably make some videos making army lists once this gets updated on, like, New Recruit. And we'll see what we can do there, because this is some interesting stuff. And it's not as bad as I thought it. I didn't think it was that bad. I think it's actually got some stuff, though. I'm going to be missing that +1 to wound. That's going to be a problem. But I think we have things that can make up for that in here. So I'm actually coming out of this a little more optimistic than I initially thought. And we've got some really cool units, dude. Especially our new dude. What's he called? This guy's awesome. This guy's super awesome. This guy, he's just really good. Uthar now makes our CP cost less, which throughout the course of the game is better than being in the Oathband attachment, even when you got like the max amount of CP, when you got like the 3 CP. Throughout the course of the game, this guy's going to save you 4 or 5 if he lives that long. At minimum, he'll probably save you 3. So, just awesome. This guy's good. I really like this. And I think that he can be used in a lot of different detachments. But he's got a couple that are specifically good for him. This guy got better. These are interesting now. Very interesting. Like, very interesting. Terminators, I'm not so sure about now. But I do know that that plasma gun is better. I do know that. Steeljacks, I'm not sure where they land. The combat ones are only 2 damage. You know, 18 attacks, so you're hitting on 3s, you get 12 hits. Against the tank, you're looking at 6 wounds, it gets a 5 up, so it takes 8 damage. Like, that's just not enough. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I almost feel like these are still kind of what you go for. I think that you just fucking bite the bullet and you don't have your grenade launcher anymore, basically. And you take the plasma, which should actually end up doing more damage than your Volkite was doing. Your combat's the same. You still hit on 3s for shooting in combat. You're cheaper. You can still be -1 to wound. You're not as tough. You're only toughness 5, but you can still be -1 to wound. This guy's still, he hits harder than he used to. He's got 6 attacks with this, so if you gave him that upgrade, he would be at 4 damage each. AP3 now? I don't know. I think we got some cool stuff here. Just my list isn't going to be the same. I like transports. I like transports a lot. But the problem is that the transport detachment doesn't give me all the cool stuff. The Oathband detachment gives me all the cool stuff. And this one. This also gives you cool stuff. I mean, sustained 1 near transports isn't bad. It's definitely not bad. Don't have rerolls. I have rerolls to hit, but no rerolls to wound. Don't have fallback and charge. I do have a shoot back at you. Yeah, alright. So, I'm not sure where it lands. I really like what I'm seeing, though, now that I've taken a little bit more time to kind of digest it. Again, I don't really do these like this, and you guys fucking hate these anyway, and you're, like, all gonna dislike it for some reason. So, I kind of just said fuck it, and I just did it the way I wanted it. Did it the way I wanted to this time. Which is, different. Anyway, that's gonna do it. This is a really cool codex. I don't know how good it's gonna end up being, but it is really cool. It's got some cool stuff going on. Look at this cool art. And I think its rules will actually land in a pretty good spot. I don't know how we're gonna deal with knights yet, but we're gonna have to figure it out. So, I'm done. I'm like super done. And that's going to be the Votann. The Leagues of Votann, 10th edition Codex. If you guys enjoyed the video, what's this guy's thing called? I don't know. Mass Gauntlet, the like and subscribe button, hit Nurgle's bell, check out the other videos, leave comments, check out the other channel, do all the stuff. That's going to do it for this video. Theory hard. And I'll see you guys next time.